I grew up here in Sweden, and my whole childhood was spent painting and drawing birds and watching birds. And now, being back, I continue the same thing.
Through the reeds the wind did whisper of the lives lived long before. Across the sea the sun lay dying in the robes that the evening wore.
Karl Martens on the point of painting. Through meditation he gets into the right frame of mind to create a work freely and without inhibitions.
The first brush stroke of a painting in an Asian way of thinking is that it sets the attitude and the energy of the painting. You have to start full of energy, because otherwise if you start a little bit timidly, your energy you won't have enough energy to finish the painting. So that's why, since I'm making a big painting, I have to kind of jam it in there.
From his earliest memories, Karl drew. He was born in the States, but much of his early drawing took place not far from here in Drottningholm, Sweden. He depicted the wildlife and birds around him and created his own private world.
Well, my interest for birds, and primarily birds, but also nature and animals, whatever, it comes from home. My father was very interested in nature and so forth, and I grew up in the country. And my mother's a sculptor, so she looked at nature in order to do her sculpture. And it just became a way of life. When I didn't have anything to do, I went out into the woods.
Karl paints from his exceptional knowledge and memory of birds. For smaller works he uses handmade paper. Otherwise, for bigger paintings, he commits to his subject matter far earlier and uses factory-made watercolour paper.
The bird that I'm painting is a buzzard. In my mind, I tried to find an interesting posture. And I thought, leaning forward, so in an active posture, because it's interesting to observe birds that they have active and they have passive postures, and from the posture you can see what it's going to do next. So in this particular case, it might fly away the next minute.
Karl is interested in Eastern alongside Western philosophies. Above all, freeing the mind of all things which may interrupt his flow is important. His pursuit of Japanese archery is based on shooting with the heart, not the brain.
It's a martial art. And there also, it's the same thing there, that to get as much effort as possible. And it's the same thing here. How little do I need to paint in order to make it into a bird?
Karl's studio is simple, his brushes and materials beautifully laid out as if to welcome what's to come. He uses salt to give greater depth and fluidity in the form of the bird.
The kit that I use is fashioned in such a way to force me to lose control. I use Japanese and Chinese paint brushes with watercolor. They're not made for one another. So everything, and lots of water, so that it drips and ends up in places I hadn't planned. So all the time, the whole thing is to challenge my need for control, to let go and see what happens. Well, my visual memory comes from years and years of studying birds, and I just have trained up my memory to see them. And when it comes to the beaks and the other details, then I have studied them so long, I just know what the difference is between a buzzard's beak and an eagle's beak.
This is the all-important detail, call it face recognition, that gives the bird its definition.
If a bird's identity or a bird's personality is in the eye and the beak, the type of bird and even the individual. And so in order to capture the essence of a bird, I need to concentrate on it. I need to bring that out. So therefore it has to be perfect. And also aesthetically, the contrast between the detail and the roughness.
Karl's ability to create a life form as distinct as a bird from a feeling and then see that form develop through detail is a concentrated process. He's constantly working on perfecting the picture until he knows it's complete.
The painting is finished when the bird tells me it's finished. All of a sudden the bird looks at me and says, hello. It's always a surprise because I never know which type of hello it's going to be. It's going to be hello, or if it's going to be, no. So but it speaks to me. And there is a bird, and then I can stop.
Flock of seabirds shimmer brightly, weaving through the winter's sky. As on the waves the mist hangs lightly. When did you ever learn to fly?